Okay, it is 4:15. I'd like to call to order the January 23rd meeting of the Norwalk Board of Police Commissioners. We have a quorum with Commissioner Fran Collier Clemens, Commissioner Tony Lopez. First item on the agenda, approval of the minutes of December 19th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion to move by Commissioner Lopez. Any corrections, deletions, omissions?
I have none, Mayor.
No comment.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes as submitted?
So moved. Aye.
Aye. Any nays? And abstentions?
I abstain.
Yeah, Commissioner Collier Clemens abstains. Next, we have on the agenda, public comment. Is anybody who's logged on that wishes to address the Board of Police Commissioners?
No, there's not, Mayor.
Okay, so we will move forward with recognition for the December Officer of the Month, Detective Patrick English. Chief.
Good afternoon, Police Commission. Yes, Detective English in January 2021 was assigned a tip provided by the Department of Children and Families regarding the sex trafficking of a juvenile in Norwalk. He was assigned the investigation with minimal facts and was able to identify more than one victim as well as the trafficker and solicitor. After a lengthy and delicate investigation, he was able to gather the cooperation of the victims and develop a case for arrest and prosecution. In December of 2022, after dogged determination, he was able to successfully obtain arrest warrants, and take the suspects into custody forthwith. Due to his doggedness investigation, he was able to identify, locate, and arrest these two individuals whom were exploiting children. I want to thank him for his dedication and a job well done.
Thank you. Certainly was. I read about that, and it was quite an investigation, a very sensitive one, and a very challenging one indeed. So I want to congratulate Detective English on his hard work and dedication. Commissioners?
I'd also like to congratulate him too. This is a very sensitive area, and sometimes, you don't get all the cooperation that you need, and it's just awful to think that we've got this going on in our community, but I am so thankful that we have the kind of officers that we have that do not give up. They persevere in following the leads and the roads and come to successful convictions. So congratulations, officer.
I also want to congratulate Detective English, and for sure, I also, of course, like Commissioner Clemens, I'm surprised that we have such in the community, and so such persistence, of course, paid off, and we are so much better for that. And so, thank you so very much, Detective English.
Thank you. I'd like to go back one step in the agenda. I see that there's the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association has a hand raised wishing to address the commission.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can.
Hi, this is Diane Cece with the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. Good afternoon, Mayor and commissioners and staff. Just as a side note, when the meeting didn't start on Zoom for the public, you were already approving the minutes. So I think there might have been a little delay there. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I did have my hand raised. In any event, I was looking to make comments actually for both meetings, the Traffic Authority and Police Commission, that matter pertains to both. But I think you may have had a personal best on the timing of the Traffic Authority. I'd hopped on and it was already adjourning. So
Yeah, it was only two items on the agenda. Yeah.
Exactly. And I missed an opportunity to think. I think it may have been announced that Mr. Yosak is retiring, and certainly would want to extend our appreciation for the many years that he assisted ENNA with concerns here relevant to traffic and city engineering. But the reason I wanted to address both Traffic and Police Commission is actually twofold. One is East Norwalk, you probably are already aware, and I hope you put this on an upcoming agenda, that there's been chronic complaints about serious car racing here in East Norwalk. I think it probably was exacerbated when the state police finally took some action on the serious racing that was happening on the Route 7 connector. But these complaints now have been chronic. We do realize that a lot of people are simply complaining on social media, but we do urge them to always contact the police department when they hear this activity going on. And
Where is this
we
taking
understand-
place, Ms. Cece?
I'm sorry?
Where is this taking place?
It's all over East Norwalk, according to the residents. A lot of it is on East Avenue, Winfield. There's been chronic complaints at Norton Place at the private property up there. Strawberry Hill Avenue, which you know is a great straightaway for this type of activity. I'm not sure about Beach Road, but Gregory Boulevard for sure as well. So it's kind of, all over our neighborhood, and we're looking to have more patrols. But as I understand it, it's not a, the first concern is whether or not there's any police response at all when people are phoning in. So we're trying to get some information on that, and at least on social media, people are telling us that that the police are responding. But what's happening is the time that they make the call and then the police respond, apparently these group of car racers disband where there can't be any enforcement. I don't know if this is kind of an ignorant question for you, Mayor and police chiefs, but is it possible that these folks have some sort of a police radio or whatever you call it, where they can hear these dispatch calls?
A police
And when
scanner?
they come in?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
Chief.
And so I was thinking, is this, I don't know under what conditions you can use some other frequency that the public wouldn't be aware of, or if that's even legal, but that may help. One of the reasons why I'm calling in today, Mayor, is I really think with this type of activity, this could be a tragedy just waiting to happen at this point. It's more than a quality of life thing with noise and the time of night. These things are happening late into the evening. But I really think that someone either participating in this activity or an innocent bystander or driver is going to get hurt. So I urge you to take this up and to for the community policing division, if that still exists, to get some better enforcement over here at the time these calls are coming in for that purpose.
Yeah, and it'd be critically important for us to look at where these are taking place most frequently and what times of day or evening. Chief,
Yeah.
if you could maybe have somebody research that through our call
Yeah.
log.
Yeah, Mayor Rilling, Mrs. Cece, since last week, I've been working with Councilman Jem McCure, who brought this to our information. We have received reports of drag racing at Norton Place. Norton Place currently right now is a private property. And there's sort of a blight situation going on there where they've abandoned a property and it's being utilized to drag race. But we have responded to several calls, and most of the time the racers flee upon seeing police cars. We haven't contacted a few and advised them trespass warnings because it is private property. We have not received any reports of drag racing on East Avenue or Strawberry Hill. Mostly it's all been centered on Norton Place. So Deputy Chief Blake went over there and surveyed the property. There is a sort of a strip that we've seen that they've been using. So in response to this, what we did this morning, we've put out hires, JAG hires, grant hires to be specifically placed there starting this week through the next period of time. They're usually occurring late at night. So we'll be planning those hires to address this drag racing thing in East Norwalk moving forward, especially as the weather gets better, using JAG grant money. But we are aware of it and we have been responsive, and a lot of reports do come through our text tip line, which sort of delays our response because it comes in a text tip line. And I would just encourage any East Norwalk residents to just dial 854-3000 and go directly to our communication so we can respond more swiftly.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I do appreciate Councilwoman McMurray bringing it again to your attention, but you'll know from your logs that this activity has been going on for months now, and really appreciate the upbeat in monitoring and enforcement, because I'm sure once spring and summer come, it will even be worse. I will also bring it to the attention of the attorney who represents the property owners there and see if she can have some communication with them for that particular parcel. But I know, and again, from social media, that the other streets are involved, and we will encourage people to call in. I routinely have to tell residents that they're not required to give their name or address when they call in either.
That's correct.
They can just simply request that a patrol officer be dispatched. And so anyone who's concerned with that, we'll let them know. Thank you.
CC, could you also ask the residents to please put the time in which they are aware of these occurrences?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to do that, Commissioner. And I think it also, that's the other benefit of notifying the police department right away, because it's an official entry then into the dispatch and then also response. But it certainly can ask them to do that so that we can see if there's, if they're moving from one place to another, or if it's particularly, Friday night between 11 and 3 a.m. or something. So I'm happy to do that.
Okay, thank you. I think
Mhm.
all of the information that we can get will help us to eradicate this problem, because it's all over Norwalk.
Sure. Sure, yeah, I think exactly. I think they move around a bit, and I think, and again, quality of life issue, but I'm just personally really getting concerned now that someone's going to get hurt or killed at this point. The second item that I wanted to talk to you about is to also ask if you can take this up on a future agenda. Although time might be of the essence, but I haven't seen any input by either the traffic authority or the police commission, either staff or the commissioners, regarding any, if you've had been asked to or conducted any review of the One Cemetery Street proposed development. As a part of that mixed-use apartment development that's winding its way through zoning right now, the city and the applicant are proposing that Cemetery Street be reduced from 2 lanes down to 1, and also have on-street parking. And the preferred changes there to traffic also will have Gregory Boulevard become the yield. I'm going northbound versus Cemetery Street now. So East Norwalk Neighborhood Association and our residents are very concerned about this from not just a traffic point of view. The reason why I was going to raise it also at Police Commission anyways, because we also feel that we wanted to look at what the emergency response would be in terms of any impediment or obstacles if Cemetery Street was reduced to 1 lane with on-street parallel parking. And also, if you could, both commissions could take a look at what the impact would be and weigh in on this application for the traffic, for what the traffic impact would be there, especially in the summertime, but also changing the configuration of that yield where the predominance of the traffic would be asked to yield. I think it would be something, again, that could result in rather than prevent accidents there, I think they could create them. So,
Yeah, Deputy
happy
Chief
to
Blake, would
answer
you
any questions
contact
on that,
planning
but-
and zoning?
sorry,
And
Mayor.
have them take a look at that and find out what they're proposing over there. Obviously, and I know Ms. Cece, you know this, that there's a limit as to the kinds of comments that we can make, but we certainly can make comments relative to proposed changes to the traffic plan.
Thanks so much. Yeah, just for you to weigh in on both fronts would be great. I believe that they're still looking now to push ahead to a public hearing in February. And it will probably be before your next meeting, but at least so we know that you'll have eyes on it would be great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Deputy
Thank
Chief
you
Blake
so
will
much.
reach out. Thank you. I see Mr. Spar, Jeffrey Spar has a hand raised. Are you looking to make public comment, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay,
So I'd like to speak in behalf of or in favor of the promotions that are on the agenda for today, specifically elevating Interim Deputy Chief Terry Blake to Deputy Chief and Interim Chief Jim Walsh to Chief of Police. I've had the distinct privilege of working with both of them on a number of matters throughout the long years. And I can't speak more highly of their professionalism and the way they positively reflect upon not only the Norwalk Police Department, but the city of Norwalk. I know that Deputy Chief Blake has been called as a witness in a number of the cases I have, not because that he's been involved directly in any of the cases, but that he's always responded to assist to make sure that the matter is carried out pursuant to all the police guidelines and manuals. He is the consummate professional when he's been called upon to testify, and it's really a great asset to the city of Norwalk, particularly in the legal field, to have him there because he can articulate what was done and why it was done in a professional manner. Also, I've really had the opportunity to work with Interim Chief James Walsh. God, I don't know, for years. I could probably say decades now. And I guess the best thing I could say is he just makes my life a lot easier. If I need information, I know I can get it from him. If I need an explanation, I know I can get it from him. Unfortunately for him, but not for me, he's also accessible by my cell phone on weekends at night or in the morning, just whenever I need to get in touch with him. As a matter of fact, I actually signaled him today just to let him know, say, hey, I got my hand raised. I want to speak at this meeting. I don't think we could do better than to have him as a chief of police. His attention to detail is fantastic. Just the way he runs the ship is great. And I think it's a real asset for the city of Norwalk. I know Chief Bohawick excelled as well as his predecessor, Mr. Mayor. But I think we're keeping a good streak going, and I can't speak more highly of having Jimmy Walsh as the chief of police.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Spar.
you.
We appreciate your comments. Okay, so back to hold on a second. Back to the agenda. We are now on the operations report of patrol staffing.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. For December 31st, 2022, we were at 177 personnel out of a possible 181. We currently have 4 patrol vacancies. There was 236.25 sick days used by sworn personnel and 96.75 days of workman's compensation. That includes 3 long-term workman's compensation cases that are going on. Detective Bureau in December 22 opened up 5 commercial burglaries, 3 residential burglaries, and 4 motor vehicle burglaries. As you can see on the notes there, the year-to-date stats are there as well. So we had 22 year-to-date commercial burglaries, 35 residential burglaries, and 95 car burglaries. They opened up 45 cases in the month of December. In regards to the check washing, which I know everyone's been concerned about, the checks thefts from mailboxes, they're at over $780,000 of money that's been stolen as a result of check intercepts and washing. While the cases have begun to drop somewhat, we are still experiencing some of that going on. Fortunately, detectives have 3 arrest warrants pending for suspects in multiple check and mail thefts. Our Special Services Division has several ongoing narcotic and fugitive investigations in December 2022. They had 25 cases and they had 7 felony arrests, 10 misdemeanor arrests, and 8 warrant arrests, and executed 3 search warrants. They are involved with investigating 1 non-fatal overdose investigation along with our Detective Bureau. And they've also been very proactive in underage tobacco and vape shop compliance operations, along with our Special Victims Unit. They checked 5 shops and issued 9 infractions during December for underage sales of tobacco. Our Special Victims Unit had 45 cases in December, 537 for the year. Very busy year for our Special Victims Unit. SBU also again assisted the Special Services Division with those compliance checks, and they have ongoing DARE instruction continuing for the 5th grade. Our Behavioral Health Unit again has been busy. They opened up 36 social work cases in December alone. 33 of those cases have been successfully addressed by working with family members, connecting those individuals to services, some hospitalizations, and partnering with other organizations. So 13 of those individual cases have been in fact closed. We are very fortunate that just recently, last week, we started a part-time social worker began working with us. So now we have a full-time and a part-time social worker, as well as Sergeant Galino assigned to our BHU. Traffic unit issue, sorry.
Just a quick question. The social worker, has that assisted in reducing some of the caseload of the patrol division or other responses that we would normally have?
Yes, currently the BHU primarily follows up on these cases that the patrol division responds to, and then looks to try and do their best to get services or make these cases not be a continued ongoing issue. However, there has been some proactive response now that the unit is up and running. They've been able to proactively respond to certain calls and assist patrol at the scenes of those calls. So again, it just keeps developing more and more as we, get, I think, 2 months into it now. So again, with the additional social worker, we're hopeful to have them out riding with the officers too in the coming months.
Good, good.
Our traffic unit in December issued 19 citations, 9 written warnings. They made 3 arrests, including an arrest for the fatal crash that occurred on November 27th on Dr. Martin Luther King Drive that resulted in a fatality of 1 individual there. Community Police Services also participated in the numerous tree lightings and menorah lightings throughout the city. They ran their annual Stuff a Cruiser event and provided gifts to children throughout the city. This was the biggest take ever. They were overwhelmed with generosity this year. So we were able to provide so much more to the community than we have in the past year. So kudos to them. They also held the annual Children's Christmas Party at the South Norwalk School, which was well attended by everyone in the community as well. Total criminal arrests for the department were 197 in December, and patrol division calls per service were 4,847. The total for 2022 was 51,171 for the year. I just want to let you know too, Chief Walsh and I have met with our patrol supervisors, all the patrol supervisors, and we discussed operations as well as increasing our proactive enforcement of traffic violations and quality of life issues such as parking violations, and ensuring that no one's driving by parking violations and proactively taking care of such.
Good to hear.
As you'll note too, in the graph there, our second platoon, our day shift, continues to be the busiest shift by several calls. And again, a lot of that is attributed to just the busyness in the city during the day with business and the schools, et cetera, et cetera. That's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you, Deputy
you.
Chief Blake. Do we have any questions from the commissioners or any comments?
I have none.
I don't have any either.
Okay, that brings us to the Administrative Services Report. Deputy Chief Zecca.
Hello, Commissioners. So for annual training in December, we did less lethal weapons and also firearms training. And then some of the officers were trained in emergency medical response for their certifications. For the review credit cycle that we're in, classes were conducted on crime scene investigation, cultural awareness and diversity, driver training, mental health first aid, police in the public, sexual harassment prevention, and bloodborne pathogens. And then in specialty training, we had an officer go to an emergency services unit supervision class, taser instruction, recertification, and then we held a field training officer training for all of our training officers. As you know, we have a large number of officers who recently came out of the academy, so they're all within their field training cycles. So we renewed our expectations with the supervisors and training officers to make sure that everyone's on the same page and our newest officers are getting the proper training they need. And that is it for the month.
Thank you. Any commissioners, any questions from the commission?
Just a question. Do we have very many driver accidents with our police officers? Because I don't ever see that.
We have a few accidents, yes.
Okay, are they different officers or repeating officers?
Mostly different officers.
Okay.
Commissioner Clemens, we keep a spreadsheet and we have the frontline supervisor investigate each aspect of every patrol involved accident. And then he forwards us a memo on each accident. We keep our records upstairs and we also keep a spreadsheet yearly. And we update it whenever one comes in. So we do have those records and we do monitor for patterns.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Okay, any further comments or questions?
I have none, Mayor.
Okay, so the next item, we need a motion to go into executive session
I move to go into executive session.
for the purpose of discussing promotions. Miss Commissioner Collier Clemens, all in favor of going into executive session?
Aye.
Aye. The time is 4:40 and we will go into executive session. We will be back in this session after the executive session is over. Okay, we're just waiting for Commissioner Lopez to join us. Okay, we are now out of executive session at 4:55 p.m. During executive session, no motions were made and no votes were taken. We are now back on to the regular agenda under the topic of promotion. So we will need motions throughout this level. And so the first promotion that is being put forward is promotion of James Walsh to Chief of Police. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move that we propose to have Deputy Chief James Walsh promoted as Chief of the Norwalk Police Department.
And, you know, one thing we didn't check on, and thank you, but Chief, what is the anticipated date for the promotions? You and Deputy Chief Blake would be immediate. What about the others down below?
That would be effective Thursday, the 26th for their
Okay.
lieutenants and sergeants.
Okay. So again, Commissioner.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I heard Lieutenant and Sergeant. And do we have the same for Deputy Chief Terry Blake as well?
No, the chief and the deputy chief will be immediate.
Immediate, got it.
So Commissioner Lopez has moved to promote James Walsh to the permanent position of Chief of Police. Do we have any further comments? I would just like, yeah, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say, again, we really commend Chief Walsh to the position. I wish you the very, very best. I thank you for taking on this leadership responsibility and look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Well said. Any further comments or discussion? Commissioner Collier Clemens, I think you're on mute.
All right, here I am. All right, yes, I believe that Chief James Walsh to the permanent position of Chief of Police is an excellent move and appointment. And I wholeheartedly concur with everything that has been said, and I definitely look forward to working with him. And I know him to be a person who moves expeditiously. Any request you make of him, you know it's going to be done. So I look forward to that.
Thank you. And I echo all the comments made by both the commissioners. I think Deputy Chief or Mr. Walsh now for the time being is an excellent candidate. And I look forward to working with him as well, and looking forward to having him continue to move this amazing department forward as he has hit the ground running already as interim chief. So seeing no further comments, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Congratulations. Now, Chief Walsh, do you have any comments, Chief?
First off, I would like to thank the Norwalk Police Commission for all your support and the recognition that you've shown me through this transition. And it is an honor to lead the men and women of the Norwalk Police Department. and to serve the great residents of the city of Norwalk. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the proposed promotion of interim Deputy Chief Terry Blake to permanent Deputy Chief. Do I have a motion?
I move to appoint Terry Blake to the permanent position of Deputy Chief of the Norwalk Police Department, effective immediately.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments?
To also want to, of course, we support Deputy Chief Terry Blake, and of course, we recognize all the valuable service that you have provided. And it's going to really reflect a lot on the entire team that you and Chief Walsh lead. And so we're looking forward to seeing many good things ahead of us. Thank you.
And I
And
echo
I
the
can-
comments. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Clemens.
No, I was just gonna say that although I didn't know Deputy Chief Blake when he was growing up, I feel like I do because I know someone who did. And it just seems a little more personal for me, for him to get to this point and get this great nomination. And I'm just so proud of the work that he has done and continues to do with excellence, with professionalism, and with friendliness. And he remains the same. So I'm looking forward to working with you in this position, and I know it will be a wonderful journey.
Again, and I echo the comments by both of the commissioners. Look forward to it and working together with Chief Walsh and working together for the betterment of the department. I think we're going to see some wonderful changes, wonderful things that will be happening over the next period of time. So again, thank you to the commission for your confidence that you've instilled in both of these individuals. And so with that, I will ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. Now, permanent Deputy Chief Blake, do you like to make any comments?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I just appreciate looking forward to serving with you, serving you, the community, Chief Walsh, and the members of our department. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now the other items on the agenda, because when there are promotions, the promotions go down the line because that makes openings for other ranks because of the people that are moving up. So we have two promotions from the rank of sergeant to the rank of lieutenant. And we'll have two promotions from the rank of officer to the rank of sergeant. And from what these will take place effective Thursday, January 26th. So for the first item for Sergeant Tomasz Podgorski, do I have a motion?
Yes, I move promotion of Tomasz Podgorski to lieutenant effective Thursday, January 26, 2023.
Do I have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations to future Lieutenant Podgorski, effective this coming week. Next item on the agenda, we have the proposed promotion of Sergeant Kevin Marker to lieutenant. Do I have a motion?
So move, Mayor. I move that Kevin Marquette be promoted to lieutenant effective Thursday, January 27, 2023.
Okay, Commissioner Lopez has moved. Further discussion? I'd just like to say both Podgorski and Marker, wishing them well, because it's encouraging to see young people wanting to take on greater challenges within the department. It's important that we have this movement, this momentum that keeps things going, and have young people that coming up through the ranks. I know that feeling personally, as does all the other officers that are now on this meeting, and it's gratifying. And so I want to thank both of these individuals. So having Seeing no further questions or comments, all in favor of promoting Sergeant Kevin Markert to lieutenant effective January 26th?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, congratulations. And I know future Lieutenant Markert is on the Zoom. I don't know if he wishes to make any comment.
No, just thank you for the opportunity, everyone. I appreciate it, and you'll get my absolute best.
There's no doubt in my mind or our minds that we will.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thank
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Officer Ramon Velasquez from officer to sergeant effective January 26th. Do I have a motion?
I move Ramon Velasquez be promoted to the position of sergeant effective Thursday, January 26, 2023.
Okay, motion made. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And congratulations to future Sergeant Velasquez. Next, the last promotion that's being proposed, for the time being anyway, is Officer Ramon Tejada to Sergeant. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Moved by Commissioner Lopez. Further comment or discussion? I would just like to say what I said before, young officers on the department, moving up in the ranks, using their experience and knowledge that they've gained during their service to take on greater responsibilities in the department. And I want to thank them and congratulate them. So seeing no further comment, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motions carries, and congratulations to all the newly promoted individuals. Moving on, next item on the agenda is the language stipend for Officer Ramon Rivera. Do I have a motion?
I move stipend for Officer Rivera.
Chief? Chief, do you want to comment on that or make
Sir, I do not have the paperwork included in my package in regards to his language type.
yeah, and I think the commissioners know that when an officer is multilingual, they get a stipend added to their base salary because they're called upon oftentimes to interpret, translate for other officers on the street that might not have proficiency in a particular language. And so as a result of that, in the bargaining agreement, there is a clause that allows or that calls for people who are speaking a different language when they use that in the performance of their duties, that they can get this language stipend. So I imagine the paperwork or everything has been done. The item's been moved. Any further discussion?
Well, I'd just like to say he got a score of C1, which is the highest one that you can get. And so he, is just very, very proficient in speaking and spontaneously responding to any situation where Spanish is being spoken. So I think that speaks very highly of him. And the certification is the results of it.
Thank you.
My apologies, Mayor. Yes, he took the test on December 22nd. He scored excellent on the test.
Very good.
I just wanted to say, of course, the skill set that's reflected in our workforce really shows how well we're prepared to meet our community's needs, and it's very important.
Very good. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Clemens?
Oh, aye.
Okay. The motion carries. Next item on the agenda is complimentary letters. Chief?
Yes, we received a letter from the City of Danbury Police Department of Sergeant Malone, who thanked us. They had an unfortunate death of one of their officers on December 5th. And due to the grieving loss of Sergeant Cooney, whose wake was the same night, we had to cope with, they had 2 sudden deaths within their police department within 10 days. We had provided a mutual aid to the police department by assisting with patrols. Sergeant Calise, Officer Koff, Stephen Koff, Officer Richard Holmes, and Officer Silva came in to assist, and that they thanked us for their mutual aid. In December, we received a letter from a resident of Ferris Avenue who wanted to thank all the police dispatchers on a Merry Christmas and to continue to respond to emergencies. It's a nice note because our dispatchers usually don't get too much recognition, but I'm glad that the resident took the time to respond. And a letter from State's Attorney Paul Forensic out of Stanford GA1 wanted to thank Detective Lepak. She agreed to do a presentation at the class that he teaches at Housatonic Community College in Bridgeport, writing for law enforcement. She spoke about her line of work as a detective with the Special Victims Unit. Many of the students wanted to be police officers, so they found this presentation to be very informative. He thanks for making herself available and doing such a quality presentation.
Okay.
Officer Petrofessa on January 5th, he noticed a large raccoon. He responded to a call in regards to a large raccoon stumbling around in the backyard. The residents were a little bit alarmed by this. They understood that the poor creature was probably suffering from rabies or distemper, and the only course of action was to have the raccoon euthanized. Officer Petrofessa arrived and handled the situation with the utmost professionalism, courtesy, and care. We are all so grateful Officer Petrofessa was able to make us feel that this situation was handled with dignity and respect. They also wanted to thank the police department as a whole for the service that they do to the community. And from the Stanford Veterans Association, they wanted to thank members of our honor guard, Officer Carl Williams, Officer Chris Wazalewski, Officer Dave Peterson, and Officer Dave Nieves for their participation in the Stanford Veterans Park Parade last year. They wanted to thank all the officers and all police department for their continued support in honor of our veterans.
Once they do the vote. And
Okay.
Joe is waiting to send
Again,
out-
thank you to all the officers who,
They voted, the meeting's not over there on the last item.
Mr. Spar, could you mute,
So it's official.
Mr. Spar, could you mute Mr. Spar?
Just so you know,
Mr. Spar?
the meeting started a little bit late. By the time the video came on,
Well, anyway, thank you to all the officers for their service and dedication. It's always good, and I know the commission really appreciates the fact that so many people out in the community will take their time to write and to thank the officers. And I think that's gratifying, and it just goes to show the continued good work that happens. And we have a person that's online watching. Mr. Ray Cook wanted to congratulate all those who have been promoted, especially Terry and Jim. So again, congratulations. And with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn. Well, the
I
next
move to
meeting,
adjourn.
yep, next meeting is what? Hold on. February, yep. Well, the next meeting is third Monday in February. And we will see. We have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Collier Clemens at 5:12. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Again, thank you for your time and congratulations to all those newly promoted personnel. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, commissioners, there's a ceremony on Wednesday,
Yes.
right? So if you don't have the information, reach out to the department. They'll get it for you. A promotional ceremony.
City Hall.
Promotional ceremony on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, right?
3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Oh, at 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the week, everyone.
Have a good night.
See you Wednesday.
Good night.